Aloha, welcome back to You Are Your Own Beloved. My name is Soulfire. For those of you who don't know me, maybe you're just tuning into my channel for the first time, and welcome. So today's video is titled Moderately Happy. And this is a phrase that I got from one of my clients who is doing my 1-year transformation program. And he said to me, he said, Soulfire, I believe that you can only be moderately happy in life. That is kind of like the rule for like everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, how much money you have. And he was giving an example of like how he became so successful and created this tech company with his chip and so successful, dedicated his whole life. You know, he came from a small village in India, and then he created this company, sold it a few years ago, made a lot of money, and then on that day, or like right about that same time, he found out that his oldest son, he kind of had like this mental breakdown, and he's never been the same. And so he went from like feeling like this elation and joy to all of a sudden just it just brought him down to like he was like up here, and then it went down, and he just determined at the point like that's the way life is. Like you're just here, like you can only be moderately happy, because, and in a way, he has a really good point. It's a valid point, because I mean, if you look at the world, just look at the world at large, and then just take your individual life, like there's great things that could happen, and then there's sucky things that happen, and so because that's the nature of duality. And so we kind of have to understand that it's good to have that understanding that we are living in this world on the earth, and it's considered the third, fourth dimension, and the world of form, right? We have to go from being in our light bodies to slowing down our vibration so we can be dense enough to take a physical dense form. And now we have gravity that's keeping us down. We have duality, polarity here on the earth, right? And that helps us to learn, because think about it, you wouldn't really know what cold was if you didn't have hot. Like, for example, say you were born in a really cold part of the world, and you were born into it. Let's just say Alaska. I don't know if Alaska's cold 24/7, but let's just say, pretend like Alaska's always just cold, and you're born into Alaska, and you never felt anything else but cold. So you kind of just like, you don't really know what cold is, because that's what you were born into. It's like part of you. But then you go somewhere, say you travel to Texas, and you feel the heat, right? And you're just like, oh, it's so hot. And then you go back home to Alaska, and then you feel the cold again. And you're feeling the cold on a more experiential level. Do you understand? It's different, because you've just experienced the contrast in Texas of the heat. So now you're experiencing cold in a whole different way. And so that's what duality and polarity here in the third and fourth dimension give us. It gives us that learning experience. And, I mean, just in my life, like I was, because my grandbaby had a little bit of a scare and was in the hospital. It's just a couple of weeks old. And I was so worried, and this went on for a few days. So it's like I was worried and tense, and I was hardly breathing. It was almost like I was holding my breath for the whole time. But I wasn't aware in that moment during those days that that's what I was doing, because it wasn't until he left the hospital and he got a clean bill of health that I felt, and I felt this like relief come over me, and then this joy bubble up. So I didn't really know that I was worried and stressed and holding my breath until I felt the opposite. And then when I felt the opposite, I said, wow, I was really stressed and holding my breath for like those few days. So what I'm trying to impart is that, in a way, being moderately happy is kind of correct. It's like, yeah, I mean, you could be happy because maybe one of your dreams came true, and then all of a sudden, boom, all these other obstacles or things come along, and And then it brings us from here to here, and then we're just like kind of in the middle. And yeah, so I agree with him in that sense. But what I wanted to add on, and this is what my coaching program is all about, this is what this channel is all about, is that there is a way and there's a space and place within each being, within each one of us, that holds the key to feeling that sense of, I like the word in Sanskrit, Santosha, which is contentment. Just contentment that's not dependent on external circumstances or the outer world, right? And that's what I'm always continuously trying to impart my messages that I'm giving you, is because this is the key, and this is the most important thing that you could learn or remember and have an understanding about, is that because when you find that space and place within you, that is like the gold. It's the key. And no matter what happens outside of it, and I'm not saying that you're not going to feel other emotions or feel sad or tense or worried or stressed, because life is still continuing to happen around you. But you know that there's a safe place within your being, that where all is well, no matter what happens, no matter what, yeah. And I'm just thinking in my head of like, as I'm explaining this, like I'm already hearing people saying like, but, and what if, and this and that. Like I'm hearing your rebuttals, and at the same time, I'm answering them. So I have like a lot of conversations going on in my head. That's why I maybe pause at times. But it's a work in progress. We're a work in progress, and we're all learning and growing together. And what I just want to say is that I'm here to help guide the way, to maybe I'm a couple steps ahead of you, and I've already spent most of my life just working on transforming my life and rising out of the darkness over and over again. I had to fall back down and then rise back up, and fall back down and rise back up, fall back down. And then eventually you get so tired of that, you're just like, why don't I just stay up? Like, why can't I just stay up? And I really do try, and it's still challenging. It is because the world is, if you just look outside, it's crazy or intense, chaotic times. But we're in the process of this destruction time, so we can rebuild. And rebuilding needs to come. There needs to be some type of release or destruction. In Hinduism, that's the Shakti, the 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 whole destruction, and that's necessary. It's not necessarily a bad thing, is what I'm trying to say. And that from the ashes you can rebuild into something new. And we can have multiple deaths and rebirths in one lifetime, in one incarnation. And that's what I have had, many. And I'm going through another one, and I'm rebuilding myself right now, and focusing now on bringing myself to the world as a divine channel, as a speaker of truth, of divine light, bringing light to my books, to my teachings. And that's what I'm focusing on, this part of my life. So what I wanted to share with you is that, yes, moderately happy is a true statement when you're just only living in the world of duality in the third and fourth dimension. But at some point, as we're evolving in our consciousness and our soul, and we're ascending, that's what ascension means, is evolution of our soul consciousness. having this awareness of God, that the divine is within us. We are the divine. It's not outside of us. It is who we are. And as we start to have an understanding about it and be about it and become it, it's who we are, then our world starts to be less of polarity experiences, but more steady and rising up and having more good experiences, more experiences with ease, with grace, with joy. And then we start to live from not just a place of meditation, but a place of joy, of light, right? And that's the ultimate goal. It's not just to be here to suffer, right? I mean, well, let's just come here and suffer for our life. No, we came here to learn, to grow, to expand, to evolve in our consciousness and become who we already are, which is the divine, which is God. We are God having this human experience. And then you find that place within you, that Santosha of contentment that nobody and no thing, no one can take away from you, because it's yours, it's in you, it's who you are. And that's the gold. That's it. There's so many variables in life, in the external world. Every material thing in the world, including the people that we love and the beings that we love, they're all temporary. They can all just leave. They could die. We could get divorced. They can go our separate ways. It's all temporary. But there's only one thing that's not temporary, and that's finding the beloved within, finding your Purusha, your I am presence, the God within, and that happiness within you that nobody can take away. So that is my message for today. From my heart to yours, namaste. The soul fire in me, I give to you. Aho. To learn more about my offerings, visit my website at igniteyoursoulfire.com. Please subscribe to my channel and comment below, my soul family. Thank you for being here on our precious planet Gaia at this time. Your light matters. You matter. You make a difference in the world by just being you. Ahuiho. Until our hearts meet again. You are loved.